All right, it's the start of a new year, 2018. I hope and trust that everyone had a safe and happy holiday. Let's get into it. I've been following you since 2013, and I enjoy your content, but lately it seems like every video is an ad. Sure, I guess I could see how you would think that. And the reason for it is everything got backed up and hit all at once at the end of the year. So I got behind earlier in the year when the protection and defense program should have been released. But I got double pneumonia, and that alone put me back an entire month. Just from that, not to mention all the other delays that came up. And by the time I started making any real headway, it's October, and the next cycle of the Laws of Magick comes up. And then in November, it was protection and defense, and in December, it was the end of the year sale. So 3 months in a row, running concurrent, that's why everything seemed like it was a sales ad, because the only way you're going to find out about it is if I tell you about it. But that's all caught up and over with now, and it's a brand new year, and I have absolutely nothing in the works. So you can rest easy, O sensitive ones. I have nothing to offer thee, although you can always buy a t-shirt if you so desire. Now, I'll still always have my little cards and end screens, as I always do, but it won't be as ad heavy as it seemed to be. The next sale won't even be until at least next month at the earliest. I do plan on putting out at least 2 programs this year, but since I haven't even started working on them, they won't be for a while. So I hope that clears it up for you. I don't like it that everything ran concurrent as they did either, but just because I get behind on things doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to achieve my goals for the year. I ended up getting it done, but at the cost of it running back to back to back. And hopefully that will not happen this year, as I do prefer to put a little time in between things. So with that out of the way, last time we had talked about scarcity and how caring too much can actually work against you. But this time we're going to talk about how caring too little can actually be just as undesirable. Remember, everything needs to be kept in balance. Caring too little is the danger of depolarization. For as much as we've talked about depolarization on this channel, we haven't really talked too much about the cons of depolarization. There are pros and cons to everything. I believe that because we've discussed depolarization on this channel so much that people believe that depolarization is a good thing. And it can be, but there are cons to it as well. Thinking that it is good or bad in of itself is polarization. So it's not really that depolarization is good per se, as there are certain benefits to it. Namely, being able to see both sides and perspectives equally, not being manipulated so easily by those in the know, by using polarity for attraction and repulsion, being more centered and grounded. So what are the cons? Well, for starters, you may begin to not care as much. You may understand others more, but they may have a more difficult time understanding you, leading to a sense of being cut off from society. And though you may understand them, you may not relate to them anymore. There is a difference. And these two things, not caring as much and feeling cut off from everybody, can lead to some serious motivation problems. You may find it difficult to get anything done, difficult to get it in gear and get moving. Now, thankfully, no one is 100% depolarized completely. True depolarization is stagnation, which is the state of not flowing or moving, a sort of limbo between the poles, between the pillars. Stagnation leads to death and decay, and therefore it is not desirable. And so we really need to strike a balance. We need to be depolarized just enough so that we can see different perspectives. We can see the other side of things. We can see how it's used in the world and by those in the know, to view it as the powerful force that it is, and to learn how to use polarity to our own advantages. For polarity is the foundation of life, which we know as electromagnetism. And so becoming depolarized can be just as undesirable as being polarized if it leads to becoming apathetic, nihilistic. As you begin to see all the points, you begin wondering, what's the point? And possibly even some depression, which could be the case if you begin to feel cut off from society. And so I wanted to bring these things to light as I'm watching people leave comments acting like depolarization is the end-all be-all, like it's its own movement now or something. It's as an important tool that we use, but it can lead to some balance issues and some problems if you're not careful and aware of them. So my advice, if you're beginning to feel any of these things in your practice, such as apathy, feeling cut off from others, nihilism, lack of motivation, not caring about things at all, is to simply take a break from your magical practice for a while. Stop doing the middle pillar ritual and just really give things a rest for about a month or so, and then see how you feel and come back to it. If you're doing a self-initiation course, such as the one by Liam Thomas Christopher, Kabbalah, Magick, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation, and you begin feeling that way, take a break between the grades. A month off between grades isn't going to kill you so long as you come back to it when you're finished. We strive for balance in all things. So stop being a hermit and get out there once in a while. And even I have to push myself to do that sometimes because, as I said a couple of videos ago, I'm not a big crowd person. So if you begin to feel like you're starting to care less and less and less about things, you need to stop with the depolarization exercises. There's nothing wrong with being polarized. It is the natural way of things. It's just that it has been misused and exploited for so long that we really need to understand how this works. And so I really want people to stop equating depolarization as good and polarization as bad. That is simply not the case. And if you fall into apathy, it could be quite the opposite. So continue your work, but remember to keep a good balance. If you feel yourself sliding into apathy, just make sure you back off for a bit. Also remember that I never claimed that the path of the magician is an easy one. And I think that will about do it for today. I'm going to go hit temple and then take the rest of the evening off. Once again, I hope that everyone had a safe and happy New Year, and I will see you next time. Take care.